All right, here we go. So our last standard, standard 23. This is our standard about the modern presidents. So we're going to start off with Ronald Reagan. So Ronald Reagan is the president mainly of the 1980s. Ronald Reagan, based off of the information in the standard, is known primarily for Reaganomics. So Reaganomics is Ronald Reagan's economic policy, hence the name Reaganomics. And this policy was meant to reduce overall government spending, to reduce income tax, and try to control the money supply. So the thought process there is if you reduce some of the government regulations and some of the government spending, then this would reduce the federal deficit and it would allow people to have more money that they could go spend. And if people spend more money, then businesses have more money. If businesses have more money, they can hire more people. And that is the idea behind the cycle there. He was also known for putting a lot of pressure on the Soviet Union to allow Germany to be reunited. And so overall, people generally consider Ronald Reagan's presidency a successful one and one that is to be emulated, and that's what often people look back on in modern presidency. So then George H.W. Bush, this was one that had wide success in regards to Operation Desert Storm, but then because he said no new taxes, and then there was an economic downturn and there was new taxes. Many people felt like he was not honest in what he said during his campaign, and so he was not reelected, although it wasn't entirely his fault, but it did lead to Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton's presidency was one that you guys know primarily the impeachment, based off of information that I've seen on a lot of your posts that you know about his obstruction of justice and committing perjury, and that's what he was charged for, and the affair. You guys tend to know a lot about that information, but he is also known for the North American Free Trade Agreement, more commonly known as Nafta, which allowed free trade between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And then he's also known for being president during a time where there was a technology boom in the United States. And so you have your computers, like personal computers, as well as cell phones and the internet, and all of that comes to fruition during his time as presidency. And so that helped our economic growth. And it also helped Bill Clinton be able to balance the budget, meaning to eliminate the federal deficit and to create a balanced budget. And that was one of his goals. The next president is George W. Bush. So George Bush Jr. He is known primarily for being president during the time of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, because that was what a lot of his 8 years in office was spent trying to attack this war on terror, as he phrased it. So trying to keep the American people safe. And he did this through the Patriot Act, was one of the kind of controversial acts where it was, information that was needed, you could get, more or less. You didn't have to go through all the same channels, through the same warrants as you traditionally had to. So this was a way to say, look, we're trying to protect the American people, and if we have to extend the reach of the executive branch, then that is what we're going to do. And so we, go into Afghanistan, go into Iraq, throughout the course of the war on terror. And this is a long stretching war that our nation has been going through. But the idea is that we're going through this to try to provide a safer place to live and to take the attack to the terrorist rather than wait till terrorists attack us, is the idea behind it. And then lastly, President Barack Obama. He is most commonly known in this standard as being the first president of color, is the way that it is phrased. But he also was known for passing or pushing to have the Affordable Care Act passed, which is more commonly known as Obamacare, trying to provide health care for all, and for finally getting Osama bin Laden, which was part of the goal from all the way back to 2001.